welcome to In at the Side. It's episode 7. I'm joined by the irregular regular Neil Williamson and our very special guest today, Richard Small, co-founder of the LDN Sevens tournament. How are you this afternoon, Richard?
I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for having me on the show. It's such an honour.
No worries. How are you filling your time during the lockdown period?
Well, I'm actually working up at Heathrow, helping home the homeless and strip them. Well, not strip them, but clear them out of the airport, so it stops the spread of COVID-19. So yeah, trying my hardest to fill my time, and found something that's actually really worthwhile.
No, that's really good. Good to hear. So obviously, you know, that's such a long, quite strenuous project. How's that really? Are you seeing a lot of people, you know, struggling not just with their health but their mental health as well?
Yeah, we have quite a few people there that are really struggling with their mental health, and luckily, obviously with you boys, what you do, what I do with Box Recovery as well, and with a few other things, I'm quite versed at talking about it and being able to sit and help quite a few of the unfortunate people that do struggle with mental health, and especially some of those on the streets at the moment that with this added pressure of COVID-19, of social distancing, just the simple things of not being able to find food or drink anywhere. It's like shops are closing, so they're usual places that they would go to find little bits and maybe even find a little bit of solace away from their own state of mind. Sometimes it's all closed, so there's even more pressure on them as well for the whole process. So yeah, we like the mental health side as well as the people they're tired, they're struggling. So.
And is it all volunteers that does this with yourself, or is it funded by the government in any way, or is it?
Yeah, so Heathrow's actually is private property, so it's they're the ones that have to get them in and pay for this. So it's not. I'd like to say I was doing a complete nice deed, but no, there is a little bit of monetary value towards it. We're getting paid for what we do, but it's something that is very close to my heart. Having, like, before I would join the military, join the Marines, I was homeless myself, so for a short period of time. So it's something that quite resonates with me, and as soon as I heard what it was, I was jumping at the chance to help out.
Brilliant. And I know we mentioned earlier, obviously you run and organise London Sevens, LDN Sevens. We went there last year, had an absolutely amazing time.
Over time.
with COVID-19, obviously the future, certainly this year, is looking uncertain. What's the master plan there? Is it being postponed? Is it being cancelled? What's happening there?
Okay, so at present it's been postponed. We are trying everything possible not to cancel it, knowing full well that at the back of this, loads of people are going to want to have a party. They're going to want to stretch their legs because everyone's been stuck inside. Yes, we can do all this kind of fitness stuff. We can do as much as we can, but it's nothing like playing rugby. It's nothing like social with the lads, the girls, and everything like that. So we are doing everything we can to make sure that this event happens this year. We're looking at end of July, beginning of August. I mean, we might even push it middle of August. We're just trying hard as well not to step on anyone's toes with pre-season, because obviously with the normal 15 season being extended on the Premiership and things like that, I know all the other leagues have finished now, but everyone's now looking towards building for next year, for this year, end of this year, next year type thing. And I don't want to step on anyone's toes because a lot of the Sevens players play 15s as well. So, but I can tell you we are doing everything, and we're about 90% sure it's going to happen this year.
Nice. So obviously, it's been pushed back. Are you getting regular communications from the RFU? Or are you getting radio silence?
We were getting quite a few emails, and I was talking to a chap there called Dom, who's really good. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. I mean, I understand why. They've got a lot of pressure on their plate at the moment with finishing the Premiership. And the European rugby is all entangled in it, and then you're looking at the international side of it with HQ, because you can't have varsity games there, you can't have this, so everyone's suffering from this. So I'm not that worried about that. We are getting updated, not as much as we were, but we're getting updated enough But England Rugby have actually cancelled the Rugby Sevens or the Sevens
series.
So they've cancelled that, which is fine. But we've reiterated that we are trying to put our tournament on, making sure that everyone that has paid up, that has registered. We've had so many people register for their interest, and we've got quite a few teams already paid full for this event. So we're trying our hardest to get this done. And what we're going to do is, with everyone that's paid up and with everyone that's shown an interest, if you've paid in full or paid a deposit and you can't make the revised date, we will be putting it on. You can put it over to next year as well, and we'll be giving a little extra as well, just to say thank you. It's tough times for everyone, but the RFU they've been as best as they can. I'm not going to say that I would like a little bit more from them, but in this climate, I completely understand why it's been a little bit quieter than usual. But we are getting updates, yes.
Excellent. Now, obviously, with the uncertainty of COVID-19 and everything going on, we totally understand. Normally, you have LDN Sevens on the same weekend as the Army Navy game. I'm assuming that's going to be cancelled, postponed. What are your thoughts on that?
So the Army Navy this year has actually been cancelled. They are doing preparations for next year, which means, because this year actually was a little bit of an anomaly, because they moved the bank holiday weekends from the Monday to the following Friday to coincide with 75 years of VE Day, which, again, being a former Marine, is really, really close to my heart. But the Army Navy game was still being put on the normal weekend. So we actually this year we're going to be a weekend apart from the Army Navy. So next year we're making sure that everything's back in line. Like even if we do have the festival this year, next year we're making sure the festival's back in line. We're going to have the Army Navy on the big screen again. We're going to be down there. We're going to be offering the full after party to anyone that goes to the Army Navy games. You've got 84,000 people at Twickenham, and we're going to be offering discounted tickets to come straight from Twickenham straight to the after party. It's going to be epic.
Nice. Looking forward to that already.
I was going to say, if last year was anything to go by, it's certainly one to get down to. That's
for
Yeah.
Now, you touched on your time in the Marines. Now, obviously, the subject very close to all of our hearts is mental health awareness.
Yes.
Now, how long were you in the Marines for?
Just under 11 years.
11 years. Now, the reason I asked about mental health awareness, I wanted to ask a question. It seems, from my experience, I've seen a lot of ex-squaddies or ex-military, not just Army, but all services struggle. Not everyone, but they all struggle with either the PTSD or depression or something like that afterwards. Have the forces got something in place which supports these soldiers and helps through these mental issues that they might be having?
So I'll be honest, they're doing a lot better. I still think there's more that needs to be done. I still think there's a long way to go. From when I joined up to when I first went overseas to Iraq in 2004, 2005, and then when I went to Afghan as well, there was no decompression back then. Everyone now, if they go away on an operational tour, they stop off and they do a week or two in Cyprus. They have interviews not interviews as such. That people talk to them and help them through what they've seen, what they've done, how to process it, how to digest it properly. With the massive and it's unfortunate at the moment. It's a little bit of an epidemic with ex-servicemen taking their own lives. Yeah. It's sad, and I feel that they've been pushed into having more, which is great. But I still think there's more that can be done. There is a lot in place now. I will be honest, there is a lot in place, but I still think that we're behind the curve on that. And I just purely think that the reason why we're behind the curve and the military are behind the curve on it is because it started too late. It should have started 20 years ago. It should have started probably 30 years ago with the lads coming off the back of the Falklands. So that's 40 years ago, even nearly 40 years. There's a lot more that could have been done in the years, but people just didn't understand it. Back then, it was all about a stick. If you had your troubles, like you kept them to yourself, and you just kind of we say grizzed it out, like you kind of it was a bit of being a man type thing. But that's complete bollocks now.
Yeah,
It's people are realising that it's not about that. It's about opening up. It's about talking. It's about sharing. And even if it's just to a mate that has no idea what you're going through and has no idea how to take it, the fact that you talk to them, it just eases that burden a little bit. And I'll hold my hands up. I've had to have the chats to people. It's not an easy thing, but it's one of the biggest things that I push now. And the military are massively on board. They really are now. And there is a lot in place, but there needs to be more. There does need to be more.
And on your point there, obviously, just speaking to someone, that's a massively important point, especially nowadays with what's going on with everyone in isolation. I suppose the one positive that's come from this is that it's bringing everyone closer together. Skyping, video calling, messaging, just ringing people, checking everyone's okay. But ultimately, it comes down to that. You said, it's just talking to somebody. Do you find it's easier to speak to a complete stranger about something than your friend?
Yes and no, actually. It's a great question. Yes and no. Sometimes when you've got something on your chest and you need to get it off, it used to be easier to tell a stranger because they wouldn't, even if you think they were going to judge you, you're like, well, I'm never going to see them again.
Yeah.
But that's changing. That's changing so much now. The support network that we've put together there's a group of us former Marines. It's called UK Bootnet, and it's basically we're going round and we're helping ex-servicemen and women. We're creating a little social group, and it's so much easier to talk to your friends nowadays because if they're a real friend, if you've got a real friend, they're never going to judge you, and even if they don't know how to help you, they'll be able to give you some nice, kind words. And I tell you what, it's so much easier hearing that from a friend. Than it is from a stranger, because from a stranger, if they say nice words, you're like, all right, cheers, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
When you hear one of your mates turn around and go, mate, I'm so proud of you. You're doing such a great job. Keep doing it. I tell you what, it really resonates with you. It really sits well with you. So I used to think it was easier talking to a stranger, but now I'm a solid believer. Like, pick up the phone to your friends, like pop around their house. Well, not pop around their house at the moment, obviously, but jump on a video call. I'm telling you, your friends out there are some of the nicest, and they'll be the ones that actually really help you through this process. And they're the ones that will always be there for you as well. Like them true, real friends. And I tell you what, it's much the rugby family is much the same as the military family. It's incredible. Everyone is there to help, which is immense.
I'm glad. Sorry, Dom, go on.
That's right. I was just going to say, obviously, you mentioned the similarities between the rugby family and the military family. Did you play a lot of rugby in the military?
In the military, I did, yeah. So I used to play for a civilian club while I was in the military. Well, I played for a couple, depending on where I was based. I played for the unit side, and then I played for the Royal Marines as well. So yeah, I love my rugby when I was playing in the military. It was really, really good. It was really competitive. I mean, going around, I got to play some of the different army units and things like that. And some big boys that you go up against. And yeah, some great challenges, great challenge. But I played rugby league and rugby union.
Right. Okay.
I played both codes. I mean, rugby union is obviously always my first love, but yeah, rugby league. I just love the big hits. And
what would you say was harder to get into, league or union?
Harder to get into.
Yeah.
But it depends. If you're from up north, it's easier. It's harder to get into union because you only have a few clubs up there.
Yeah.
If you're down south, it's harder to get into league than it is to get into union up north because there's even a smaller amount of league clubs down here than there is union clubs up north.
Yeah.
I would say to anyone that wants to try them, I'd definitely try both. If you're playing one, definitely have a go at the other because it's incredible. It's the difference. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's the same game. Just one of them's got 13 players, one of them's got 15, and there's a little bit of difference here. I was like, nah, they're two completely different games.
Yeah. Well, take the tackling alone. If you look at rugby union, the emphasis on high tackles has been brought in over the last couple of years. Has been absolutely paramount. Second to none. In rugby league, they're smashing each other around the throats, around the chest, and the collarbone all day long. And that's a legal tackle.
And it's been that way for a long, long time as well.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling though to me. I mean, I don't play league. I play union. And I used to play American football. But other than that, yeah, I look at, and we played at sevens tournaments against league teams, getting smashed and turning around to the ref being like, we're getting tackled high. And he's like, oh well, they're rugby league players. So are we playing union or league? You know?
Yeah. Oh, they're rugby league players. Brilliant. Does that mean that they get away with it?
Yeah.
Give us a set of rules.
Yeah.
Dear me. So I've been asking. We've done a few of these podcasts recently, and Dom's been taking the piss up, but he's saying I'm a scenario man. I'm going to put a scenario your way now, right?
Okay.
You played with a lot of players in the military, outside of the military, in your vast playing career. The situation is you're isolated with one player. Okay, you can't leave the house full stop. You get food brought to you. You're in there for 2 weeks solid. Who is the player you would least like to be in that house with, and why?
Oh, that I'd least like to be.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And you've got to call them out.
I actually live with one of the guys that I used to play rugby with now. I was in the Marines with. Does it have to be a guy that I've played with, or
against?
We have asked for past or present players that people have played with, but if you want to bend the rules, I'm sure we can.
So a 2-week lockdown with this player. Oh, do you know what? I'll be honest. I love him to bits, and I love spending time with him all the time. But I think if I was on lockdown with Rory Jenkins for 2 weeks, with Big Bosch, he's one of my best mates, and I love him to bits. He used to play for Harlequins, Wasps, played England A. He's a brute, though. I just think I'd end up dead. I don't know whether I'd end up dead from him crushing me or from all the red wine that we drink. I really do a week, but 2 weeks. I think he'd kill me.
A big booze.
He's bench pressing you.
Rory he's still in great shape. I mean, I try to see him every couple of weeks, but with what's going on, we try and grab a beer, grab something to eat all the time. But with what's going on, it's obviously been a little bit more difficult. But yeah, when we get together and we start throwing the pints down, I can't keep up, and I end up like absolutely ruined.
It's like me and Nick Dom. I'm a big drinker.
Yeah, I was going to say, a bit like you now. 2 beers. I'll tell you, LDN last year, he had 2 beers and then he threw up. Is
that dodgy beer you had there, Rich?
Oh, last year it was Wolfpack.
Wolfpack, yeah.
All right, and on the flip side of that other question, then. Which player would make it an absolute dream for 2 weeks? You just sit there, someone you played with in the past that would just make it an absolute dream to be in that house with.
Someone I played with in the past. I tell you what I do love is Samuel Burns. Right. So the big brother of Freddie and Billy Burns.
Yeah.
So I met him years ago out in Cyprus, and that's how I got to know them all. But yeah, Sam, he's just full of so much positive energy. He's always happy. Like even when he's got something wrong, like he's still a million miles an hour. He's got so much charisma and energy. I think 2 weeks with him, I think I'd come out a different person. I think I'd be
your life coach.
And I'll be in the best place of my life. Like, yeah, definitely Sam Burns. Yeah, he's an absolute legend.
Excellent. Dom, anything else to add there?
I think we've covered it all. I haven't got much more to talk about. Anything else you want to talk about, Rich?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let me throw some stuff back to you. Right, talk to me a little bit more about the mental health charities that you've that Dodger Sevens is working with.
Neil or me?
Let's go with you first.
Okay, so associated with Marshall and Men's Minds, set up by Nick Marshall last year. That's basically started in the Gloucestershire area. Nick
Marshall, is that the RAF guy?
Yeah, the liner. Yeah, he said he knew you.
Yeah, I know Nick.
Yeah.
Funny old thing. I think I met him in talking about Sammy Burns. I think I met Nick Marshall at the same time in Cyprus.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, he set up an organisation, Marshall and Men's Minds, based in the Gloucestershire area, which is a massive part of the Dodgers. It's probably 90% of our teams based there.
Cool.
So he has weekly meetings where people can come and chat and just listen in or get stuff off their chest.
Yeah.
And when he first approached us, it was sort of an easy one to take. He was just starting up himself. We were only in our second year. We both had big aspirations and links within rugby. So yeah, it's fantastic that he sort of reached out to us and
I think
was upfront about it as well, because it just naturally clicked.
Well, the link there was I actually went to school with Nick.
Wow.
We were in the same year at school, so I saw him doing something like this.
You look so much younger than him.
Thank you. I'll give you that money later. I saw that he was doing something like that on Facebook. Obviously, put it forward to Dom and Zach at the time, and he actually came to one of our tournaments last year at Keynes Cross, which Dom couldn't actually make. Spoke to me, spoke to Zach, and it's flourished from there. And Dom and Nick talk very regularly. I think Nick's going to look to come to quite a few of our tournaments. Hopefully, get him down to LDN sevens as well, and maybe get some boots on.
Yeah.
It's a good. I don't know if I can speak for Dom as well, but I'm just quite glad that we're working with a local charity that's someone that we know and helping them at the same time, rather than going to one of the big boys like Mind or something like that have got thousands and thousands of people, raising money for them all over the country, all over the world. So, I think it's more important that we work with a smaller one, to be fair.
The good thing with Nick as well. Nick is a lovely guy. I know that he struggled himself and he kept it to himself. And he's a really good advocate of the whole thing. He's military, former military. He's been around rugby for so long. I think he's a perfect choice. So with us, we did the same thing. We went with Rock to Recovery. It's a mental health charity. It started off for just military personnel, but they do everyone now.
Yeah.
They weren't one of these big boys. It was set up by by two guys, Jason Carl Fox, obviously the SAS guy, and Jamie Sanderson. Both of them I know very well. Jamie I served with in the Marines with, as well as Foxy. But the pair of them, basically a little bit like Nick, they struggled, didn't get the help that they needed, and decided to be able to help others. They would need to help themselves properly, and found other ways to do it. So, guys, I think what you're doing is commendable. It's incredible, and making sure that you pick the right company or the right charity to partner up with. And I think you massively have there. I can't speak more highly of Nick. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, fantastic, bloke. So yeah, I think we've hit the half an hour mark. So yeah, do you want to give yourself a little shout out at LDN Sevens?
Well, yeah. So right. So big shout out to LDN Sevens. It's the premier weekend sports and rugby tournament in London. We're basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build the excitement and the energy of that you get the likes of Bournemouth Sevens and Summer Social, and we're trying to do it over the bank holiday weekend, usually in May. This year it's going to be slightly different, but next year we'll be back to being the first bank holiday weekend in May, literally on the same weekend as the Army Navy game, and we're just there. It's all about the rugby, the family, the military, the charities. We have quite a lot there. I'm gonna quick turn around there. Tigers, yeah, Scott.
Tigers coins, yeah.
Had to drop that in there. So that's another charity team that I work with. You know them well.
Yeah, very good friends.
Yeah, we it's a great partnership. Basically, so what LDN Sevens is doing is basically one of the biggest things for us is we're trying to get the charity rugby teams involved. I love the military rugby teams, the charity rugby teams. I love all the rugby teams, but any charity rugby team that wants to come to LDN Sevens, if they hit me up directly or hit Simon or Courtney, my two partners, up directly, we do good deals, really good deals for them, and you get to promote your charity all over our social media as and when it gets a bit closer to time. You get to bring all your stuff down to sell all your products. We don't charge you any extra for any of that. So yeah, just anyone that wants to get involved, come down. And then, like, the biggest thing that we're working on is we're working on the festival side as well. So we're trying to. We had Patrick Namazi, we had James Haskell coming back down. We had quite a few other names coming down. We partnered up with the Chelsea Lodge in London to create an amazing atmosphere, and we're trying to get some festival goers down as well as the rugby lot. So we want to get them down so they can actually see a bit of rugby, because some people come down, they've never seen a game of rugby, and I tell you what, if you've never seen a game of rugby, got to go and watch some sevens. It is the fastest, most exciting form of the game.
There is one thing you've left out. The biggest attraction that I found from last year at LDN Sevens was the chance to come down and watch some silky skills from the Dodgers.
Of course.
Get yourselves down there, guys. Watch some silky skills from Dom Hardman there.
I didn't even play last year. I just turned up and I just drank.
He turned up and boozed like the best of them.
Pretty much, yeah.
I will say that last year having you guys down was an absolute pleasure. It was obviously we spoke before about bringing the brand down and stuff like that, and then actually having you there, having you support us along with the other charity teams was incredible. And I feel we've built a lifelong friendship and brotherhood out of this. I was honoured when you asked me to come on here as well. I was like, especially after following like Andy. Who was it? Watson.
Who's on last?
Marcus Watson and you had
Marcus Watson, Carl Dixon, Lewis Ludlow.
Oh, I'm up there with the big boys. I know, good boy.
We're recording one with Vasily Aritel. I hope I said that right. Russian captain later on today as well. So,
yes, he's the guy that wasn't he the one that played at Harlequins?
Northampton.
Oh, of course, John. I'm gonna go give myself 50 press-ups for that. I should have known that.
I know.
Should have remembered that. But Carl's a good guy as well. I know you guys are doing a lot with him. He's a good guy. He cannot drink though. pretty much like you. He can't drink.
Goes on record. That's staying in.
Well, if he comes down to the festival, Dom, it's me and you boozing, and leave them two to
that more than works.
Sounds good.
Perfect. So thanks very much, Richard, and don't forget to hit up LDN Sevens on Instagram and all the socials, and get yourselves down there.
Definitely.
Perfect. Cheers, mate.
Have a great day.